right, what's going on, everyone? We are live right now with the Payneless Wholesaling Podcast. I have Paul do Campo. What's up, man? How you doing?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Oh,
Appreciate it.
I love it. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. So, just to let everyone know why we have this podcast and what we're going to be talking today with Paul. Paul is a marketing master, but what we're going to do is we're going to find out how he got his start in real estate, maybe some crazy experiences, maybe some deals that he's done with no spend, and hopefully we can learn from his experience, what he's up to right now, and how he got there. We can learn from him and take his knowledge and apply it, because again, this is the Painless Wholesaling Podcast. Our goal is to learn from others so we don't feel that pain as we go through the journey. So that's why you're here, Paul. Let's help us take away that pain that comes from the journey to the top. All right, we're here to learn from your experiences. So give us a quick 30-second intro on who you are, and then we'll dive into some of those questions.
Sure thing, man. So, well, first, my active income is as I'm a copywriter. That's how we met. Nathan came to me. We were in the same mastermind together. We talked about some copy stuff, some email stuff, some marketing stuff. That's my main bread and butter today as my active income today.
Right.
Real estate, I started back in 2015. That was like my first entrepreneurial venture there, not knowing a damn thing. I was a W-2 worker. I was in Southern California working in the utility company back then, gas company. I was a welder. I was a foreman, pipeline construction, all that jazz. And I decided to jump into real estate, read Rich Dad Poor Dad, like a lot of people.
Dang, man, that book has done a lot for a lot of people.
Changed a lot of lives. Yeah. So yeah, since then it's been a long, different ventures, different ideas, and ending up today as a copywriter for real estate. I'm just a passive investor today. Private investor, more so a private investor. I hold notes from my previous ventures in land and mobile home.
Right.
Talk about. I started off in Southern California, which is it's a pretty competitive market. Lots of wholesalers there, lots of sophisticated sellers and buyers. So when I started, and you asked me if there was any marketing tips for making things painless, for making things even free.
Did you get any deals with no marketing spend?
Yeah, depending on what asset you're looking at. So with houses, no, because houses, I started off with single family houses, door knocking those, like just straight up door knocking. That was the only thing I just knew of. I did direct mail, which was like a flop for me in my first few campaigns. Spent a lot of money in it.
Yep, same here.
Yeah, and not to say it doesn't work. I think back then it's when I look back, I wasn't working the leads well enough. It was one of those things where, you got to call back. You get leads, direct mail brings you leads, but it was one of those things where I have the leads in my CRM and I have to call them back. And I had no system for follow up or anything. It was just, okay, I feel like I need to call this lead back. So I called lead back, and in the back of my mind, I'm hoping that the lead doesn't answer. That's, I had that. I think a lot of people have this feeling is they're really hoping they don't talk to the lead. So 3 rings, they shut it off, and that's it. Like, I followed up, I did my job. And that's the feeling I had back then, and no system at all. It was all based off of how I felt. So for anybody who's starting off, even if you only have a small sample of leads, have a system in place. And I know that everybody says have a system in place. Well, how do you do that? To be honest, it's really hard to do. It's really just the work of writing something down, a plan you have in place to follow up. So it's not based off of feelings. Like every Saturday, I'm going to go drive. If you live in a small home with a big family and you can't follow up in there, drive home. This is what I did. Drive to the local Starbucks, sit in my car, and just dial away. That is like as if you're working for somebody else and you have to perform. You have to perform, right? So that's that is my I guess my 2 cents for that.
Yeah, you started knocking, man, and knocking works. That's how I actually got one of my first deals, and so that's cool. So it's cool. You said maybe not for single family. Did you have another experience where you were able to get a deal?
Yeah, so I transitioned into mobile homes for a cash flow game. Mobile homes was a big thing in Southern California. It still is a big thing in Southern California because there's a lot of mobile home parks there. And the model for that is what they call the Lonnie deal. And it's in Lonnie Scruggs, I forgot his name, Scruggs, old school cat from the 70s who kind of developed this model where you buy a mobile home, regardless if it's in a park, but he chose in a park, those parks that you pay for the the space.
Yeah.
You buy it for like $1,000 and then you relist it for $10,000 on payments. And that was my model that I jumped into, transitioned into. Big cash flow game on that. And yeah, that one you can find those deals just going to the park and talking to the manager. Those managers are the, they're the eagle in that park. They know everything that's going on in that park. They can tell you who's selling and who's not selling. So that was one of my first deals in the mobile home industry, just talking to managers, just talking to people inside of the park.
Did that cost you any money?
No, not at all.
So you got
a tank of gas, right? So
wow.
Yeah.
So you're getting deals. You just went and started talking to people in a mobile home park, huh?
Just start talking. Yeah, I mean, that's the bottom line. Just start talking. I mean, that like can't be said enough. Of activity, right? So today I don't do any of that stuff. Today I'm focused on other businesses. I have another business called OmniDrip, which builds follow-up marketing for investors, for wholesalers and flippers. And that one, it's the same concept. The same concepts are there where I have to rely on lead generation, people coming to me so I can book calls, sales calls. And it's the same concept. I need leads. I need sales calls or appointments. The amount of activity is like proportional to how many leads I get in.
Yeah.
Activity. Just, I mean, when I say activity, even if, if you're brand new, everyone's worried about doing the wrong activity, and you're going to do the wrong activity. You're going to do it. I mean, it's just a matter of just doing it quickly and finding out what works quickly and what doesn't work quickly.
Right.
And doing a large amount of I can't like stress that enough. I mean, I came into wholesaling thinking you just need to do a little bit, like door knock 10 houses per week. That's not enough. It's really, you need a lot of volume.
Yeah. No matter what marketing channel it is, right?
Right.
You need a lot.
With direct mail, you can't send out 500 pieces and expect results unless you're in a very rural market. So yeah, I mean, I sent out, I think in a total of like 10,000 pieces at one point, like cumulative.
Yeah.
And no results with that. And that's not saying direct mail doesn't work. This was way back when I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know how to make an offer. I didn't know how to follow up. Right. So I didn't, this is probably another tip. In marketing, we always think about that everything is in stages, split up into stages. Like, so a newbie entrepreneur or marketer, salesperson or investor may come in and, they just want to get the deal. They just, that's all in their head. They want to get the deal, but that's the last thing you should be thinking about. The first thing you should be thinking about is one, well, how do I get the leads to come in? How do I find the sellers? And then two, what's the next sale after that is booking the appointment with that person. That when I was following up with people from my direct mail campaigning, I didn't think about, I just need to get in the house and give them an offer. I was just following up, whatever that means. It's just a general tool. Let's follow up. I didn't have any goals in mind when following up. Today, if I were to follow up with a lead, the goal in mind is I need to book an appointment with this person. If he's selling, I need to get in the house, build rapport with that person to give them an offer. That should be like the first sale you need to make, right? The first sale isn't get the deal. The first sale is get them on an appointment.
Yeah. Like in the CRM, you have different stages, right? You don't automatically just go to close. You can't, right? You got to take them through a process. You
got to make the little sales, like, so if I'm door knocking, the first sale is I got to get them to answer the door. Right. So, I mean, I know this is brain dead and simple, but I got to knock on the door. That's my first sale. Then I got to introduce myself and then introduce what I'm doing, and then ask the question of if they know anybody that's looking to sell. And then if they do, getting that information, or if they're selling, giving them a cash offer, right? Or viewing the house. That should be the next sale after that. So little sales is what we're trying to make. So I remember seeing in a forum, a lady asking or saying that she's struggling with cold calling because she can't find any deals off of it. And my response to her was, my reply was forget about trying to find deals while you're cold calling. All you're looking for is a seller. That's it. And when it comes to copy, I'm going to transition now to copy because is relevant. This is relevant right here. People sometimes ask me for some copyright advice to write copy for the direct mail pieces. To be honest, when it comes to lead generation for investors, copy is just plain and simple is what works best because the thing is, we're not trying to persuade anybody to sell. We're just trying to weed through our list and to find a seller in that list.
Yeah,
That's it. We're trying to look for somebody. So timing is as important as your list. Timing, because I just did a campaign, a personal campaign to find a primary residence. I just moved to Idaho and looking for a primary residence out here. I don't like the rates out right now, so I want to see if I can find something creative. So I pulled a list of 200 people that in an area that I like, free and clear houses, 90% equity, and wrote a letter and mailed them. Now, what am I getting at with this? It's a copy, but the point is that
your message on there.
right, my message for that, I was 100% honest with myself that that I might not get any response out of this because I'm mailing 200 people where there may not be there's a good chance there might not be a single seller in that list. So timing is also important. So when you send a small mailing like that, understand that it's just the roll of the dice if you don't get any response, just because of the volume factor, the numbers game you're playing there. You're looking for a seller, and just by that timing, there might not have been a seller with that list.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. So let me ask you this: when you send out copy on mailers, are you saying something specific like, hey, we're just reaching out, we want to buy? Are you selling? Just trying to find out who's selling? Because you're obviously not being like, yeah, you tell me, like, what does copy look like sometimes on mailers?
I work at one of my clients is Ballpoint Marketing, so direct mail company, and we've tried out different things. So we've tried out long form copy. That didn't work too well. The short copy has always worked best. And what is the little factors that help with response? One, what has worked for a lot of markets is letting them know that you're local. Somehow something in there that gives a perception that you're local. That has worked pretty well for most markets. And then two, since it's short, I don't want to do long form. I always include one feature or benefit into that. So what I mean by that is, depending on back last year, 2 years ago, when the market was hot, people are getting a lot of these cash offer type of advertising in their face. So in the MLS and outside of the MLS. So what was working pretty well is copy that was saying actually no realtor fees. So that was the benefit. There's no realtor fees. You come to us, you get an offer from us, and that offer comes with no realtor fees. So that's the benefit that we were including in copy, which is working pretty well at the time because people are getting this, cash offers left and right. So cash wasn't necessarily a big benefit to sellers because they can get it anywhere.
Right.
Kind of diluted. So instead we came up with no realtor fees in this offer, right? Which we all know. I mean, that's okay. Obviously, when you're an off-market investor, that's what you're gonna give. But sellers don't necessarily know that, right? We assume that that the seller knows what cash means, but a
lot of people don't. They're like, what are you talking about cash?
What it means to a seller, it can mean that this saves them from embarrassment of putting a sign up front because they're losing their house.
Yeah.
Saves them from the embarrassment of people multiple buyers walking through their house, their neighbors walking through their house, and it's a hoarder house and it's full of junk. Right. So all these little things we need to communicate when you're face to face, and I communicate it in copy when it comes to follow-up marketing when I build that for clients. But all these little things of what is the benefit. What are you bringing to the table? This is something that a while back an old school investor had me do. And it was probably one of the best exercises I've ever done for myself. And he told me to sit down and write down at least 100. And I couldn't come up with 100. I think I came up with 50 ways that you benefit a seller. Because a lot of us think you're just going to come to the house, give them a cash offer, and boom, and that's it. That doesn't, you need to give them a reason of what this cash is going to bring to their livelihood, to their life, right?
The benefits, how's it going to benefit them to work with you?
Exactly.
Well, I like that, man. I like that. So I wanted to ask, do you have anything else to say with that? I wanted to ask you a question, something else.
No, go for it, man. Shoot.
Yo, so I wanted to ask you, because I know a lot of people in here, they want to know about them crazy stories. Tell me about a crazy experience or interesting story you had from working with those mobile homes or in real estate, because we all got them. Tell me, give me one or give me one.
Land. I did land as well. That was a profitable business for me. There's not a whole lot of stories. That's pretty cut and dry. Mobile homes, if you do mobile homes long enough, I mean, when I say long enough, you'll find a story in 3 months.
Yes.
But you get some nasty homes. You really do. So the worst, I have two, that depending on what your fear is. But
Fear factor, dude.
Fear factor, yeah. One of them was a mobile home, and this I turned this deal down because it was going to be too much of a headache. But
Yeah.
they called me from my website. So
Mhm.
I at the time I was building up a website, building up SEO, and I got a website ranking. So they called me from our website, and one of those 55 plus mobile home parks. So I visited them. I went to the house, but the lady who owned the house lived next door. Okay, that's
Mm.
all right. Went there, talked to her. It's like, oh yeah, that's my house from 10 years ago. My husband died 10 years ago. I don't live in it anymore, but my 5 cats live in that house.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
5 cats. Okay, so all right. She's like, yeah, I need to sell it because I'm paying the rent space for 10 years and I'm not doing anything with it. And the plan was, for anybody who doesn't know, the plan was to buy it for, don't remember the numbers, but let's just give an example, buy it for 10,000, put another $10,000-$15,000 into rehab, and then resell it for like 50,000 to 60,000 on a note. So finding a buyer who's going to make me payments on it. And so we walked through the house. After walk through the house, as soon as I opened that door,
Oh
the
gosh.
stench of
You got hit.
cat shit, pee hit me
Oh,
right in the face. And she walked through it like as if it's nothing, it's just another walk to the kitchen here. And you as soon as you open the door, you see the mounds of cat
oh
shit piled in every corner. So
man.
they didn't go outside to shit and pee. That was their living quarters and it was their restroom too. So I
She was immune. She was immune to it, brother.
and hit her nostrils. It burned her nostrils so much that she didn't smell anything.
Golly.
And so, yeah, I walked through the laundry room.
You went inside? You
I
didn't
went
say,
inside
oh,
because I was trying to be like,
yeah, you're trying to be polite. I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I walk through, I take a right, and she was like, okay, so which way do you want to start? It's like, I think this gives me a good idea. I think this is good. So,
I think
and
I've
so I
seen
walked
enough.
out. Yeah, I ended up not buying it, dude, because they would have to give it for free in order for
Yeah.
me.
I wonder who bought it, man. I wonder who bought it.
I think the park trashed it for them. Yeah,
Oh
that's the
gosh.
last I heard of the park trashed it for them.
Dude,
So
I've been in situations like that too, where it's like, why did I even go inside? I knew I wasn't gonna buy it. I knew I didn't need to go inside. When I was a newer investor too, I was like, yeah, let me go see. The guy's like, you want to come in? It was a terrible house like that. It's like, sir, I don't need to come in. I don't need to, but oh man, that's
yeah.
tough. All right, what else? You said you got another one, right?
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of it's not sad. It's nothing, but to see how people live sometimes.
It is kind of sad,
Yeah,
but
yeah. But I had one that, again, through my website, they called me, and it would have been a good deal, good park, good cash flow on it. But I ended up not buying because the park didn't let. There's every once in a while when you run into this when you're in this model of buying where you're buying in a park, but the park actually doesn't let you buy it. They're just so because they do it themselves. They're like, I don't want any competition here, so get out.
yeah.
So anyway, I did a walkthrough. Met them in front of the house. They live there. So opened the door. This was broad daylight, and I opened the door. Everything's on. Lights are on, and there's cockroaches, baby cockroaches, adult cockroaches throughout the entire floor. Like it's not even like
Oh
it
no,
was.
man.
Yeah, and they're crawling on the kitchen. They're crawling on the kitchen, the pots.
You need a bug bomb, bro. That's as easy as getting a bug bomb, right?
Right. Yeah. So yeah, there's kids living there's kids living there. It's like, oh man. I mean, I was gonna buy it. I mean, because like, what's the rehab costs on that? Just netting the place, tenting the place. I mean, tenting the place, and no big deal. But I mean, feel bad for the family living in those conditions. They weren't embarrassed at all. I think that's another aspect of what you bring to the table as a buyer is professionalism, right? Like that, I'm sure that a seller would be embarrassed.
Of course,
Brother.
brother.
A retail buyer that, right? But if you come in as a professional, it calms the nerves down. Like you're not there to judge, you're just there to do business. So
yeah, we're talking about it now, but I guarantee you, me in that house, we're not making anyone feel uncomfortable, ashamed for what they have. That's not how we roll, because that's what we expect, right? We're buying homes that are distressed, but that's tough, man. And it's honestly, I hate cockroaches, brother.
So
man. Did you go in that one?
I did go in that one. I did
it out,
go.
bro. You're a professional.
I had to be professional about it, So you got to be professional about it.
I respect both.
Yeah,
you went into both, dude. That's something you can raise your hand up high.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, just imagine that's if you're in this business, you got to be professional about it. Like, so when you hire a carpet cleaner, they come in with with their polo, they're cleaned up. I mean, at least if you hire a reputable company, they come in,
Right.
they don't care about what your house is. They're just coming here to clean the carpet, and that's it. Same with us. We're doing a service. We're coming in with we're helping alleviate their whatever problem they've got. So you got to be professional. You got to be a man about it, and just
100%.
yeah.
I love it because I'm the same way. Like, I've had situations like where people, it's like they don't have that skill set or that ability to understand, like, hey, yes, this is a weird situation, but you're not going to make that person feel uncomfortable, right? So I've been around people that are like, for example, when I was on my mission when I was like 19, 20, when I had a companion on my mission that was like, some old lady made us a nice bowl of soup. She was feeding us dinner and there was a hair in it, right? And what do? You take the hair out, you don't say anything because you're grateful, right? You're thankful for the lady. And my companion who's from Peru, he was like, hermana, like, because we were speaking Spanish, she's like, sister, and I was like, dude, don't you dare say anything. This is a nice, sweet lady. And it's kind of the same aspect, right? Some people just don't know. There's no reason to bring that up to the ladies. There's no reason to say, hey, you got cockroaches, which you didn't. But that's, again, professionalism, very true. And that's why people are successful. I think they're able to read the room and they're good professionals about it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing that with us. So, hey, I know I'd love to keep talking, but I know, we started a little bit late. I want you to throw your plug in. I want you to let people know how you can help them, because you've helped me out. We had to talk about copywriting and marketing. You helped me out a lot for what I needed to do. So how can you help out my audience, brother?
Yeah, I mean, so like I mentioned briefly, I do follow-up marketing for investors. We deliver drip sequences for them. If you want to check some free samples out, you can go to reiomnidrip.com, reiomnidrip.com. Check that out. You can get free samples by opting into my email list.
reiomnidrip.com. And those are follow-up campaigns that you can try out?
Yeah, those are drip sequences that any investor can try out. There's some, obviously I sell the whole package. I sell a total package of custom made drip sequences for people, but they can get a couple samples that they can plug in for themselves, email and SMS. So, man,
that stuff is so important, because really, like, if you have one dude on a follow-up campaign, like one VA, they can only do so much. Right. But if you can have a drip sequence rolling, that's huge.
Right. Definitely.
Well, Paul, that was awesome, man. I had a good time chatting with you, dude. And it's been about 25. I could go longer because I love talking, but we got to roll out. Is there anything else you want to leave with the audience before we head out?
That's it, man. Just I hope I communicated enough about activity, mindset, volume of what you got to do, because you told me there's a lot of new investors out there,
right?
Not just in your audience, but in general, a lot of new people coming in on board with wholesaling takes a lot of activity. I know that may discourage people, but I mean, if you make $15,000 on a wholesale fee, you might have worked 5 hours, 6 hours, even 10 hours. You made half of somebody's annual income in 10 hours, right? So
and what doesn't take a lot of activity? Be real. Like, most people aren't rich in this world because they don't take action. And it's if they take action, you make money. That's just what happens.
Just don't be discouraged. I mean, everything out of all the 10 things that you do, one of those succeeds, but it's just a matter of doing as much as you can, fast, quickly.
Time. Yeah. Well, Paul, appreciate it, man. Let's keep in touch. And for my viewers, check him out. Check out his website. One more time, throw the website on there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. reiomnidrip.com.
You got it. All right, Paul, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, man.